Hi, my little babies. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Macrieve is. I'm your host, Candace. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode. I really appreciate it. Slowly dissolves into... Okay. In today's video, we're not going to talk about what's going on with my hair because I can't. There's like a clippy back there. I can't. I'm brown now, brownish. When did that happen? Was that like a week ago? Was that before? Do I have other videos out with this color? I don't remember. You know why? Because I color my hair every 2 weeks. It's what I do. It's what I do. It's how I cope with like existential crises. Like anytime I'm feeling super stressed and I'm like, okay, time to reinvent myself. Gotta get out of this funk. Gotta get out of this mindset of whatever the fuck is going on. Change my hair color. It's either that or cut my hair, which I haven't done in a while. I do need to trim though. But no, I'm not gonna like hack off any. I haven't done that in a hot minute. Candace, this is not your own personal vlog. People are not here to hear you complain about shit. They're here to hear book reviews. I know that, and I'm gonna get to it. I promise you. In today's video, we're back with more IAD. I know. Are you guys getting tired of me reviewing IAD books? Tough titty. Get over it. Skip it. Pick a different video because I won't. I'm not gonna stop. Can't stop, won't stop until I'm caught up. I've read all these books. Most of them more than once, numerous times, but I haven't reviewed them all. And I've got to crank them out and review them all because I have like this like thought in the back of my brain that Kresley's just gonna pop back up out of nowhere sometime in the near future. And she's gonna be like, hey bitches, I'm back. By the way, Monroe is gonna be released on blah, blah, blah date. And when that happens, you guys, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I'm going to lose my mind. The end of the book that we're getting ready to review has like a little snippet of what's going on with Monroe. I'm in it. I'm in it. I have to have that book. Kresley, I love you. I hope whatever's been going on with you has gotten better. If you were sick, I hope whatever it is gone, in remission, whatever. Please know that your loyal fans who are literally salivating for your next book will be here when you get back. It's me. I'm talking about me. Take your time, but also I'll just be slowly like a little dying inside a little bit every day that I don't get Monroe. So there's that. Okay, in today's video, we're gonna be reviewing Macrieve. Okay, Macrieve is the name of the book. If you've read up to this point in IAD, Immortals After Dark, which is the name of the series by Kresley Cole that we're talking about. If you've read up to this point, then you will know that there have been multiple Macrieves. Like, there's been Lachlan Macrieve, Gareth Macrieve, Bowen. Does Bowen's last name Macrieve? I believe so. They've all had their own books, and each of them has been called Macrieve at some point in the book because they all stem from the same clan of like a werewolves, like a Scottish Highland type clan. Okay. This Macrieve is no different. His name is William, it's like a sore subject for him. in the book that nobody can pronounce his name properly. So he just demands everyone call him Macrieve. His close family call him Will, which is what we're going to call him. Will. Okay. So we're going to be reviewing book, okay, on Amazon. And I'm also going based on Kresley's reading order on her actual website, that this is book 14. I have seen other people say that it's a different numbered book. I'm literally counting from Miss book in Blood Red Kiss. The name of the actual story was the Warlord Once Forever. I'm counting from that novella all the way down. This is book 14. We can fight about it if you want, but please don't, because why would we fight? Let's just reread the books. Let's binge read again, right? Are you in? I'm in, definitely. This book allegedly, for the mass market paperback, has 480 pages. You can currently get this book for your Kindle or Nook for the price of $7.99. You can get the mass market paperback for $9.99, which seems a little bit pricey to me. I don't know if maybe this book was more popular than some of her other books, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in several of the other books that in the other videos I reviewed, in some of the other videos that I reviewed for her other books in this series, most of them, the price for mass market was less than the price for digital. And I had a hissy fit about it because I don't understand why. It's good for me because I want to own all of them in paperback. But I don't understand the mechanism, like what behind the scenes, why that is. If you know, let me know. I don't know. The hardcover for this book is $21.27 on Amazon. That strikes me as kind of an odd number. But it is what it is. And I don't think it qualifies for Prime shipping for the hardcover. The mass market definitely qualifies for Prime shipping. You can also get this book used on eBay in varying conditions for starting around like $5 with free shipping. So it's really whatever you want to do. I don't believe that this book has more than one cover. I'm going to put the cover here because I should have done that when I said the name of the book, but whatever, here it is. And I don't, so around the midway point of these books getting released, the earlier books started getting revamped covers for mass market. So if you look on Amazon, you will see a different cover than maybe what you have on your bookshelf, or maybe what's listed on eBay. If you go on eBay and you buy them used, you can probably find all of the original covers. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when Macrieve came out, she had already done the revamp, and so this book doesn't have an original cover. Like, this is just the cover. That is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We're 8 minutes in, and I haven't explained the plot at all, and it's a very detailed plot, so I gotta get into it. Okay, I'm gonna read you guys the blurb, and then we'll break it down. I'll give you my spiel and all of that jazz, but we'll talk about it. So the blurb for this one says, William Macrieve believed he'd laid to rest the ghosts of his boyhood. But when a brutal torture revives those ancient agonies and destroys his like-a instinct, the proud Scot craves the oblivion of death. Until he finds her, a young human so full of spirit and courage that she pulls him back from the brink. Seized for the auction block, Chloe Todd is forced to enter a terrifying new world of monsters and lore as a bound slave. When offered up to creatures of the dark, she fears she won't last the night, until she's claimed by him, a wicked immortal with heartbreaking eyes whose touch sets her blood on fire. With enemies circling, Macrieve spirits Chloe away to the isolated Highland keep of his youth. But once he takes her to his bed, his sensual mate becomes something more than human, evoking his savage past and testing his sanity. On the cusp of the full moon, can he conquer his worst nightmare to save Chloe from himself? So, the two main characters for this book. William Macrieve, aka Will, aka Macrieve, is a werewolf, or a Lycae, as they say. Macrieve is very fucked up. I know I've said that about many a lore creature in other books, in other videos for other books. Macrieve is legit fucked up. He's been really, really messed up his whole life. So if you like a tortured hero, and I mean tortured, he's the one for you. Okay. The main female character is a girl named Chloe Todd. If you have kept up with IAD to this point, you will know that a lot of the most recent books took place mainly on like a deserted island where there is like an installation, a military type installation, where Lorien creatures have been kidnapped and taken and imprisoned and tortured and experimented on, etc., right? It happened to the last few people whose books I've already done. Go back and watch if you want. Will is no exception. Chloe is the daughter of the head of the order. Everybody knows him as Commander Webb. His real name is Dustin Todd. Allegedly. Did you hear my finger just snap when I did that? God, I'm old. Okay. She has no idea about her dad's involvement in the order in the beginning of the book. She is a soccer player. She's trained her whole life to be a soccer player. She wants to be on the Olympic team. She's grinded for it. She's fought for it. She's sweat for it. She's bled for it. She's brash. She has a boyish haircut, like very short, cropped hair. Very feisty, which I loved. So Will Macrieve was imprisoned on the... No, okay, I have to go back. Okay. The beginning of the book starts with Will as a young boy. He's 13 years old. He is sneaking out of the keep in the Scottish Highlands, his ancestral home. He's sneaking out to go visit a woman that lives in the woods on their land that he's been having like a sexual affair with. He's been having this affair with her since he was 9. This woman is clearly a predator. She's a succubus. And she's essentially used her wiles to bind Macrieve to her. He believes in his immature, childish brain that she is his fated mate because that's what she's told him. And she's using what Kresley calls like her strew. I don't know if that's a commonly known thing throughout like succubus lore or whatever, or if that's something Kresley made up. I don't know. But it's essentially like a pheromone type thing that they put off that makes the male ravenous for them. You know what I'm saying? So she's using that against him. And that's why he thinks that she's his mate. She's not his mate. But she's using him for sex. She's also using several others for sex, but he doesn't know that. He thinks that that's his woman. So after the 3rd time that a male has sex with a succubus, he's bound to her. And if he goes without sex with the succubus for more than a day, he starts going through like withdrawals. So she's frequently used that as a means of punishment for him. If he like comes up and says, "Hey, I want to tell my parents about us," and she's like, "No," and they fight about it, and then she's like, "You're not allowed to visit me for 3 days." And by the end of those days, he's literally going through such bad withdrawal that he feels like his bones are shattering, and he's like nauseous and throwing up everything, and he can't eat and he can't sleep. Right? He's miserable. That's essentially what has happened in the beginning of the book. It's the 3rd night. he has a twin brother named Monroe who knows something's up, but he doesn't know what. Will tries to sneak out. He gets caught by his mother. She calls the father, their father. They drag him back inside. They demand to know what's going on. He confesses everything. The mother is livid. The father also, but more so the mother. She's a very fierce individual. And she's like, no, that's not your mate. She's a succubus. She's basically entranced you. We're going to go tomorrow. The dad says, we're going to go tomorrow into the woods, and we're going to take care of this problem. Because the only way to break the bond is to kill Ruel, who is the succubus. So the mother is like, I'm not having any of that. No, we're not waiting until tomorrow. I'm not going to take the chance on my husband going into the woods and being ensorcelled by this succubus as well. This is a woman's job. I got to take care of this. So the mother leaves. They realize she's missing. They follow into the woods. They get there just in time to see their mother is dead. Ruel was in the middle of having sex with a vampire not much older than Will. Will's dreams are shattered because my mate cheated on me, etc., etc. The mother is decapitated. Their father, okay, in this realm, where your mate goes, you follow. So his mate is dead. The father kills himself the next day. Will and Monroe are now orphans. Will is bearing the brunt of all of that guilt because he's basically destroyed his entire family. And he feels even more guilty because he's grieving for Ruel almost as much as he's grieving for the loss of his parents. Fast forward. Lorians are being abducted. Will gets snatched. Will thinks that he's been betrayed by the soothsayer Valkyrie, who is prevalent through all these books, Nyx. Little do all these characters know until almost the end of their books. Nyx is steering the accession, which is like a culling of immortal beings that happens every 500 years. Factions battle it out with each other to keep the population in check and to make new alliances with people, like with different species. She's single-handedly steering the accession. She's pairing up people, putting them in situations where they would not want to be so that they can find their fated people. And so when the time comes and they have to fight a bigger evil, which is coming in the next few books, the alliances that need to be made will be made. And they'll have a stronger side for the Virtus army. In the lore, there are two different sides. There's good and evil, right? So you have evil beings that fight for the Pravis. That's what they're called, the Pravis army. You have the good beings who are innately good in the lore. Some of them can do bad things, Lothair. But in the end, they'll fight for the Virtus, and that's the good side. So Nyx has been single-handedly steering this. She puts Will in the position to be abducted by the Order, which is like a group of mortal humans who are trying to eradicate all the Lorians. Will is abducted. He gets taken to the Order's island. He's experimented on. He's tortured. He's vivisected, which is where they basically crack open your chest and take your organs out with you still awake. And you're just there tied down and strapped down and watching it happen. And you're, obviously you're fucked up. So eventually everything that happens with the Order and with the island happens. Everything dissolves into chaos. The main people we want to get off the island get off the island. Will gets out. He's now doubly fucked up, and all he wants to do is die. So he's heard tell of this like this place where you can go where the fires are so hot that they'll basically incinerate even an immortal. So he's got a one-way ticket, and he's planning on going to kill himself. He has nothing to live for. He's miserable. His twin brother is the responsible one, and he's the one that's like always been there for him. He's never blamed Will for what happened. He knows that Will was used by Ruel, but Will's not hearing any of that. He can't. So they get word that there's going to be an auction by the House of Witches. The House of Witches have kidnapped someone that will hold a very pivotal key to getting revenge against the Order. So the House of Witches has this key piece of revenge or bait or whatever you want to call it. They're holding an auction where they're going to auction this person off. They've basically come out and said the auction is to auction off the daughter of Webb, Commander Webb, who is the head of the Order. Everybody wants a piece of Webb. Webb has gone so far underground he can't be found by even Lorians, even trackers, even whatever. He's missing. They can't get revenge on him. They need to draw him out. His daughter's been kidnapped by the witches, and they're going to auction her off. And then whoever gets her, the highest bidder, can use her as bait to get to Webb. Okay? Chloe has been human her whole life. She knows nothing of the lore. She knows nothing of her dad's misdeeds. She comes home one night and she sees her dad basically rummaging through his office, gathering stuff, putting stuff together in a briefcase. And he's like, hey, I have to go on a trip for work. She's like, are you like a spy or something? You've never told me anything that you do. And he's like, ha ha ha, yeah, no, I'm not a spy. But he won't tell her what he does. She divulges to him that she's been going through some changes, like bodily changes. She was at a soccer game earlier that night, and she overheard her dad on the phone from the field. Like her hearing got like, whoa, supersonic. She heard a roar and heard him mention something about a Like being taken. So she's like, what the fuck are you into? But he won't tell her. She divulges to him that she overheard this and that she's been going through changes like increased hearing abilities and better eyesight and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He has routinely tested her blood to make sure she stays mortal because secretly he knows that she's not 100% human. All of her tests have always come back as like normal. So everything's been fine. She tells him of these changes, and he's like, fuck. You're getting ready to turn into an immortal. You need to learn about the lore. He gives her the book of the lore. I forget, is that what it's called? The book of lore? It explains all about the different factions of the lore, all the creatures, who they align with, what, you know what I'm saying? And then he leaves, and he just disappears. And she's left alone there for weeks. Can't get in touch with him. His phone's now been turned off. He's just vanished. Then one night when she's sleeping, she gets abducted. Insert auction. Now she's at auction. Will and Monroe have gone to the auction because they want to get whoever this person is, daughter of Webb. They don't have the money. The starting bid is like $1 million. So they go and they're like, let's just see what's what. When they get there and Chloe has like a bag over her head, she can't be seen, but they like the House of Witches have like dressed her up in some flimsy lingerie to like attract whatever, get more bids, like get them higher up. Will gets there and bam. His instinct, which had been dormant, which is like his inner wolf, his inner voice that guides him, has been dormant since Higo was abducted by the Order, which is part of the reason why he wanted to kill himself. His instinct rears its head for the first time and proclaims Chloe to be his fated mate. We saw that. We knew that was going to happen. He goes crazy. He's like, eventually, I think the somebody on the Pravis, they like pooled their money and they win the auction. Will's like, fuck no, that's my woman. Get out of my way. He jumps up, he fights his way towards her, he takes her. Fuck it. So now he's on the run with Chloe, going back to his New Orleans estate where he's been staying with his brother and two like orphaned werewolves that are like in their teens. There's like a massive wall around the compound. It's, what is it called? Glen Reel? The New Orleans estate where the Lycae are now staying. A lot of this entire series takes place in New Orleans, so FYI. Chloe's injured in the melee of getting her out of the auction. Macrieve takes her to a voodoo priestess who owns a shop, like a voodoo shop in the French Quarter. And she uses magic to heal her. So then he takes her back to his compound. She wakes up. He's enamored immediately. He's like, I don't care. Like, it's fucked up that you're the daughter of my most hated enemy. But I don't care. Because now I have a reason to live. And I'm already infatuated with you. You're everything I could possibly want in a mate. You're brash. You take no shit. You're gorgeous. You're an athlete. I fucking love soccer, rugby, or whatever it is that they play. So they start, like, she agrees to stay with him for like a day or a week. Because outside of the walls of Glen Reel, every other being in the lore who wanted her are just waiting outside. They can't leave the compound. She can't go anywhere. She's literally the most hunted, wanted person in the lore right now. And he's like, it's my job to protect you. I'm your mate. I'll protect my little human because he doesn't know that she's other. And I'll protect you. And in the meantime, you stay with me and give me a chance to win your affections. Give me a chance to get you to fall for me, right? So she agrees, and they get close to each other. One night when they're messing around and they're getting ready to do the deed, because she's a virgin, they're getting ready to do the deed. And he comes to the realization that she is, that she's a succubus. She's half succubus. Her mom was a succubus that Webb had kidnapped for the Order. She used her strew on him, and it basically made Webb sleep with her to try and escape. She got pregnant with Chloe. She tried to escape after that with Chloe. Webb caught her, killed her mom, was going to kill Chloe, but her blood test came back as normal, as human, so he kept the baby and he raised it as his daughter and routinely tested her blood to make sure if it came up weird, he was going to offer, right? So Will is enraged. He's like, oh my God, why does fate hate me? I've been through all of this bad shit in my life, and then I finally find my fated mate, and she's the same type of creature that ruined my life to begin with. So he wants nothing to do with her. He treats her like trash. He's mean, vindictive, rude. Monroe, on the other hand, realizes that Chloe is nothing like Ruel. She's not like any succubuses that he knows of. Usually they're very timid. They're very like needy creatures. They're very whatever. And Chloe is not. Chloe is very like feisty. So Monroe's like, I think Will can get past this. He just has to fight. You got to hang in there. I don't think you're a bad person. I don't think you're evil. I don't think you're whatever. Will thinks that now he has to separate her from his clan because she's going to start putting off that strew or whatever. And it's going to make the men in the compound go crazy. Because now that her immortality has been triggered, she needs sex or she'll die, essentially. Right? So she's fighting the inevitable. She's pissed off at Will for not treating her well. And so she's pretending like she wants nothing to do with him either. Like, fuck off. You were mean to me. You threatened to throw me over the wall to the Pravis. Like, get out of here. I'm going to force down saltine crackers or sandwiches or whatever to keep my humanity and stave off what you're telling me will inevitably be me raping you, basically. Going crazy and raping you. It doesn't work out well for her. Like, she gets to the point where she's no longer healing from injuries. She's losing weight. She's throwing up the little bit that she's trying to eat. He eventually has no choice but to take her back to Connell, which is the ancestral keep where he lived with his family before all that happened. While he's there, he realizes that none of this is her fault. Like, she didn't ask for this to happen. He starts treating her better, but some part of him in the back of his mind still resents her, still hates her. So they start having sex. He starts feeding her, seed feeders. But instead of it energizing her and giving her power and energy and whatever, it's having the opposite effect. She feels sick still. She's still losing weight. She's still whatever. He doesn't really clue in that that's happening until almost like towards the end of the book, when he comes to the realization that he needs to go into the woods and burn down Ruel's cottage to try and dissociate from his past, because he knows he's never going to have a future with Chloe if he can't come to terms with his past, right? So he's in the woods and he's burning down the cottage and he's crazed. He's like, right? They've already had sex 2 times. The third time, by all accounts that they know of, will bind Will to her. He's still fighting that, I guess. I can't think of a better word for it. He's still resisting wanting to do that. She finds him in the woods. She wakes up from like a nap and she finds him in the woods and she's in such agony. The same thing that Will used to go through when he had not had sex with Ruel is happening to Chloe now. Essentially, she feels like her bones are breaking from the inside out, and she's dizzy and nauseous and lightheaded and throwing up, and she's sick. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" She's like, "I don't know." He finally comes clean about everything that happened to him with Ruel, because up to this point, she had no idea. She didn't understand why he was treating her like such trash. Now she does. And she loves him at this point, so she knows that she can't envenom him with their third, sexual encounter and bind him to her, because, she cares about him too much. She's like, "You gotta let me go." And he's like, "I can't. I love you." He doesn't say "I love you" at this point, but he's like, "I can't let you go." Anyway, she passes out. He realizes something's deathly wrong with her. He's freaking out. He turns around in the woods and there's these 2 women there. They're succubuses that he recognized from outside of the walls of Glenreel. They tell him that One of them says that she's Chloe's aunt, that her mother was like this woman's sister, and the other girl is her daughter. She thinks she's a healer in the Ubis realm, which is where the succubus and incubus live. And she says, like, I'm a healer. I think I know what's wrong with her, but I have to take her back to my realm to be sure. You got to give her to me. If you want me to save her, you got to give her to me. And he's like, I'll hand her over, but I'm coming with you because I have to have her back. Like, I'm obsessed. I'm in love with her. And so he does. And they go to the Ubis realm. And all of the preconceived notions that him and Monroe had about what type of creatures succubi are like dashed. It's a perfectly normal town. There are families. There are couples, incubus and succubuses. It looks perfectly like it could be any European town. And he's like, what the fuck? I've always seen succubuses as like, succubi as like evil creatures. I've killed a good many of them. And Gisela, who is Chloe's aunt, reveals that any succubi that are outside of the Ubis realm in the lore have probably been banished from the Ubis realm because they were fucked up or there was something wrong with them, like Ruel. But most of them are normal, law-abiding citizens. They have true mates. They whatever. So Will is like, oh my God, and he's like, can you heal her? She does like a test on Chloe's blood and reveals that, hey, you thought you were feeding her this whole time with your sperm, but really you've been slowly poisoning her. The same thing that happened to you when you would go through withdrawals from Ruel is happening to her. And because she's only half succubus, if she can't be serviced by someone who doesn't low-key hate her, she will die. Immortal or not, she'll die. Will's like, fuck no. I can't allow that. Like, I'm not gonna let some other dude bang my mate. He tells, Chloe wakes up at some point while they're over there. And he says, let me take care of you. I realize I fucked up. I realize that I've done all these bad things. I feel such guilt, but I love you. Let me take care of you. Let me feed you. And she's like, but it's the night of the full moon, and your beast is going to involuntarily rise, and you're going to destroy me. Like, I'm not in any condition to be rattled around. Like, my bones are all fucked up. And he's like, no, I'll be the first Lyca in history to subdue his beast on the night of the full moon. I can do that for you. Trust me to do that. So she does. She trusts him. They go back through the portal to Connell, and they get busy. They have sex. Or they make love, should I say. Because at this point, it is making love. Because they love each other. And fast forward. Okay. Chloe's healed. Everything's great. Monroe is missing. Nobody wanted to tell Will because Will had a lot of his own shit going on. But Monroe went to look into a sect of sorcerers who are turning people into Lycas and enslaving them to do their bidding. So Will and a handful of others from the compound went to look into this, and none of them have returned, and he's missing. At the same time, someone else pops up and confronts Chloe in the gardens of Connell. And it's like a horned demon, grotesque looking. Like, he looks, I mean, not grotesque, like in the face, he's fine. But he's got like his visage, his visage, whatever, is, looks like a mixture of many different creatures and nothing she's ever seen or heard of. When he goes to speak, she realizes that it's her dad. It's Webb. And if you have read Lothaire's book, you would know that at some point he finds Webb and he kills Webb in Webb's secret hideout. Unbeknownst to him and the rest of the lore, Webb took an injection of, basically injected himself with immortal blood taken from many different species before Lothair killed him. He was revived. He came back. And now he's a mixture of a bunch of different things. And now he's switched sides to say that he was foolish for ever thinking that mortals could fight and combat the sheer number and power that the lore has. So now he's like, I'm part of the lore now. We need to take out the humans and take over the world. He's like a maniac. He's completely lost his mind. Macrieve comes out of the keep or whatever and is getting ready to fuck this dude up. She says, that's my dad. Please don't. He lets him go. Which basically proves to Chloe that like he really does love her and et cetera, right? Webb's like, I'm going to go, but I'll always be watching out for you because you're my daughter. And now that you're an immortal, I want you to be on my side. She's like, fuck no, get out of here. I'm staying with my mans. My manses. And he's like, okay, I'll go, but I'm watching you. So they let him go. Why? You should have fucking killed him. But he might show up again later, So, yeah. So now they're flying back and they've got to figure out what the fuck happened to Monroe because he's missing. And the end of the book has Monroe waking up in a dank cell where him and the other Lycae that went with him are being held by these sorcerers. And essentially if Monroe lets his beast out, they can enslave the beast. But if Monroe doesn't let his beast out, then they can't get to him. They're trying to break him so that he'll let the beast out so that they can then enslave the beast. And Monroe's like, nah, he's not having it. No, I figured out your game. Fuck no, I'm not doing that. So essentially they throw a woman in the cell with him. Immediately his instinct is like, this is your mate. Monroe has waited his whole life for a mate. He wants a family. He wants kids. He wants to be in love. He wants that. This girl, who looks like a gypsy, has been poisoned and is on her deathbed. And the sorcerers know that they've gone to great lengths to procure her from her own time period. So she's clearly not modern. She knows what he is, but she's not of this time. They've gone to great lengths to get her and bring her here for the sheer purpose of putting Monroe in the position where he has to release his beast to save her so that then he can be enslaved. And then subsequently she will also be enslaved if she survives the turning to a werewolf. So she's been poisoned and she's getting ready to die. Monroe has no choice but to let his beast out to bite her, to try and attempt to change her before she dies. And that's how the book ends. And I'm flabbergasted. What happens? What happens to Monroe? There are other books after this one, but they don't touch on what's going on with Monroe. So it's like a little mini cliffhanger. Like, we did get a happily ever after with our actual couple, but the cliffhanger of what's going on with Monroe and what's going to happen with him is like, give it to me. Give it to me. That's that on that. Like, that's pretty much the plot. Every single plot point of the book that I just explained to you in a 50-minute video. 50 minutes. You guys, I've got to do something. How have I increased, how have I gone from 15-minute videos to 50-minute videos? Nobody's going to watch me for 50 minutes. It's going to be an hour. It's going to be an hour video. Nobody's going to watch me for an hour. Who would? Anyway, okay. So yeah, so that's that. For the rating for the book, I gave it a 9.5, 9.5, because this one held like a special place in my heart. I say it every time. I literally say it every time I review an IAD book. I would highly recommend that you guys buy this book. I would highly recommend that you read this entire series. Buy the entire series. I fucked up and I thought I had the book. I don't have the book. I can't find it. I thought my IAD collection was complete. Apparently Macrieve is missing. So I'm going to have to do that. Amazon, here I come. But yeah, read them all. Binge. It's such a binge-worthy series. I say it every video. Just go. So yeah, that's it. I think I'm done. If you enjoyed this video, all 60 minutes of it, if you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. If you do subscribe, make sure you hit that bell so you get notifications when I upload a new video. I upload new videos every week. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I do have a members only Facebook group, an Instagram. I do have a members only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter devoted to this channel. You can follow me if you would like. I will link them all down below in the description box, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you to see. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm fucking exhausted. I really thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it this far, go in the comments and give a little toot toot. Like, toot toot. I couldn't think of anything else. Toot toot. Toot toot! So yeah. I really thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you in my next video. Okay? Bye! Bye! Okay. Candace, what is up with your hair, girl? I don't know. Freckles, stop moving. Cool? Thanks. Okay. With enemies circling, Macrieve spirits... Macrieve. Okay. Macrieve spirits Chloe away to the isolated Highland keep of it. To the isolated Highland keep. Okay. I don't know why I read that weird. Close it.
Donata.
Okay. Thank you, Donata. Okay. Where was I? Okay. So I read the blurb, right? Okay, we're good. Okay. Oh my god. Parched. Okay. So, okay. I'm probably at a completely different angle now because I ran out of storage. And I got cut off. So, yes, that's... Okay, I'm coming. I've been interrupted so many times. This clip is literally giving me a headache. Oh, my head. My head hurts. What? No, I'll be there in a second. I'm coming. My eyeliner's bleeding again, as usual. What else is new? I meant to paint my nails before this video, but I didn't. Because I suck. Okay. I need help. I need medication. I'm losing it. Okay. I have to go. Charlotte's calling me for the 500th time. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you. I'll see you next time. remote's not going to work.